Aggressive. It's in my nature.
The war bunker.
Turning a chrome grille into a black one is more aggressive.
The car in itself is not aggressive.
A glorified penis.
Have you ever thought about the character of your car? What face does it have and how does it look to others? Well, in former times, cars had spherical headlights like this, which was really, really nice. But nice was yesterday, at least in the car industry. So, for example, what does this car look like? For me, actually, it has slanted, narrow eyes. Here you can see a thick nose and a big mouth. Well, if I would see that in a rearview mirror on a highway, I would definitely take over to the right. So the question is, why do so many cars look so aggressive, and why do so many people like this aggressive design? And what does it mean for our society?
Everywhere I look, I see cars from all manufacturers with mean-looking faces. Are their owners aware of that? Ever taken a closer look at your car?
It does look like a bit of a monster, which is why I got it.
Yes, it does have an aggressive, sporty look. My husband picked it for me.
Ever seen your car from the front? How would you describe its facial expression?
Yeah, it doesn't look very friendly. It says move over. And it does look a bit evil.
Its elongated shape makes it look kind of evil. It looks cute because it's so small.
The one behind you?
That's the main thing. This model is aggressive. It's in my nature.
It's a bit like dogs and their owners being alike. So aggro is definitely in, as this smart guy is going to explain. Paolo Tominelli is a professor in design and the author of several books on car styling, who evidently likes his lie-ins as I try a Saturday morning Skype call. Typical Italian, Paolo Tominelli is not there, but we will wait. Guten Morgen. Good morning, Mr. Tominelli. Let's see what insights he has into aggressive car design. How has the design changed over the last 50 years?
The car used to be the glass house. In the 70s and in the 80s, designers strived to have a beautiful, they call it greenhouse, and nowadays it got back to the middle-aged castle, worse, the war bunker. We found an analogy really between these concrete blocks with very thin slits that you could see through and basically shoot at your enemies. And now a little bit is like the car is shooting at us through always smaller windshields. The windshield surface has become much smaller compared to the overall surface of the car seen from the front. So basically, it has decreased the possibility to see who's inside, and also who's inside has less chance to see who's outside. This maneuver has desocialized the automobile.
So what kind of car does he drive?
There it is. It's not very status symbolic, but it's a cute little car.
A classic Fiat Panda, how about that? In the animated movie Cars, of course, I was rooting for our cute little hero. Old school cars to have something special, like the Fiat 500, endearingly called Topolino. Then there's the unique, innocent charm of Citroën's 2CV. And let's not forget that German classic, the VW Beetle, which itself became a hero of the big screen. But in the 80s, cars started to be used as anonymous four-wheeled weapons in action movies like Mad Max. So what about this model?
So if you have any name ideas, drop them in the comments. But what does the law for such cars say about our zeitgeist?
The grille has got larger. Headlamps have also grown in size and have become more freely designed, combining all these elements in a mask. And imagine a mask that some cars are wearing now that more looks like the balaclava that terrorists use.
But what does that mean for our society then, if we drive in antisocial objects or war objects, as you call them?
It's not just the big cars for the rich people. Even the small, cute car for city commuting, even those cars now look mean at us. As if this was a value. I don't know what values that should be if the whole society, through the cars, become dehumanized.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dehumanize? Is it really that serious? What do the people reckon who pimp up cars? As you have seen, there are many aggressive-looking cars on the road, but for some it's not evil enough and they turn to the tuning pros.
Hallo Nils.
Hello, Niels.
Hallo?
Schön, dass du
Thanks
Zeit
for
für uns
taking the
findest.
time for us.
Sure.
Wollen wir uns kurz
Let's
mal
take a seat.
hinsetzen?
Okie doke.
Ah, super. Was sind denn das für
Whether
Typen,
man
sag
or
ich
woman,
mal? Mann
what
oder
kind
Frau?
of
Was sind das für
costumers
Typen,
do
die
you
hierher kommen
get?
und ihr Auto tunen lassen?
Alle Bereiche, man kann
All
den Menschen gar
kinds.
nicht mehr ansehen, wenn man jetzt
And you
einer
can't
sagt,
tell by looking at people.
oder hat noch eine scharfe
You might
Frisur,
have a guy covered in tattoos
auch ganz normal
and with a
ist,
cool
würde ich
haircut.
sagen, Nö, ich möchte mir was gönnen.
But it's more just people who want to splash out on some flashy wheel rims or a new body sticker to set their car apart from their neighbors,
Ich weiß es nicht.
or
Also,
stuff like that.
Frauen, ja, Frauen haben da ganz
And women
spezielle
have their own
Farben,
wishes.
natürlich dann auch die Variante nicht aggressiv, sondern
And
da
there we
gibt's dann
offer non-aggressive options.
gerne pinkfarbene
Some
Felgen,
want
gerne
pink
eher
wheels or
pinkfarbene
pink trim.
Applikationen. Ja.
Ist es denn so,
Is it
dass
true that
die Leute
customers
bei
come
Kunden
here to
herkommen,
basically make their
um
cars
ihre
look more
Autos
powerful or aggressive?
kräftiger, aggressiver aussehen zu lassen? Ist das so der
Nein.
tiefergehende
No,
Wunsch?
not necessarily.
Nicht bestätigen können.
Was
So
ist denn,
what
was
are
steckt
they
denn das
thinking?
Ja,
dahinter?
einfach, die Leute wollen was extra
People want something flamboyant,
nicht von der Stange.
not standard issue.
Sie wollen es auch teilweise
Something a
von mir
bit
auch ganz
crazy,
verrückt, aber
but
die sind
not pretentious.
Protzig, dick, fett, würde ich mal. Ist ja schon aggressiver, wenn ich aus einem Chrom
Turning a chrome grill into a black one is more aggressive, but not excessively so.
dezent anders.
They do want to stand out,
wollen schon auffallen,
but without being sleazy.
so prollig die Ecke kommen.
Okay.
Gehen wir mal ganz langsam
Let's
nach
take a
vorn.
look from the
Dann
front.
sehen wir einfach auch mal, wie sieht's aus, wenn ich vorne
And you
im
do see
Auto
that
ganz
aggressive
außen dran
touch.
bin. Sieht natürlich, da kommen wir dann schon auf diesen aggressiven Touch. Hätte ich diese ganze Front
If the
in
hood
Silber,
were all silver,
wäre das,
it would be totally normal.
absolut, naja, normal. Dadurch,
But
dass
this
wir
black
immer
carbon fiber wedge gives the car a new look.
gebaut haben, wirkt das Auto
Ja. Und dieser
And look at this grill.
sage ich mal, ne? Diese
auch Zubehör sicher dezent.
And it's
aber
subtle,
wir reden jetzt nicht
not
von
a shark face or anything like that.
Hier ist auch ganz dezent. Das
So
Auto
it's still
ist,
okay on the streets.
dass man es auch noch täglich fahren
So
kann.
no extra spoiler here or at the back. Absolutely not.
Noch gerade das nicht.
ja, ist wie beim
Like a
Friseur.
hairdresser.
Wie beim Friseur.
Yes, like someone coming in as a wallflower and then looking in the mirror and saying, wow, I look so different.
Mensch, ich habe mich verändert. Super, danke.
Richtig. Doll styling.
Nice styling. So outlandish pimp jobs seem to be out, but some factory models are already over the top. Is the gender of target buyers an issue, perhaps?
Is this love for aggressive design actually a male thing, or do women find it cool too? Luckily, there is a woman who looks at these things from above. Mara Reklis is a philosopher who writes about design, and she has her own feminist perspective on the macho wagons. Haben denn Frauen andere Ansprüche?
Do women have different notions than men when it comes to aggressive design? Maybe they think it gives them more security on the road with other cars.
Gibt der wahrscheinlich auch eine gewisse oder mehr Sicherheit vielleicht im Straßenverkehr.
Wenn man so fragt, was ist aggressives
Asking
Design?
what is aggressive design immediately raises aesthetic questions about what constitutes aggression in a car's appearance.
Aggressiv. Ja, das ist ein sogenanntes, das ist das Autogesicht aggressiv. Ein aggressives Autodesign kann zum Beispiel
Aggressive car design might mean insufficient protection for occupants.
das heißt, wenn zum Beispiel
It's based on crash tests with only male and no female dummies, so without consideration for women and children.
Frauen zum Beispiel überhaupt nicht mitgetestet wurden, halte ich das für
And
ein
for
sehr
me, that is very aggressive design, regardless of the look of a car.
Das Auto sieht aggressiv aus.
Ja.
What does that say about our society? Why are there so many cars that look like this, instead of having rounder and cuddlier faces?
This car is not in itself aggressive. When we anthropomorphize cars, then they seem aggressive. The way we interpret a car depends on our visual perception. I might think, wow, the driver of that car must be amazing. Or, oh, what a poser. And we think those drivers need to compensate for something.
What kind of look does your car have from the front?
Was für ein Gesichtsausdruck hat Ihr Auto? Was sagst du?
Cheeky.
Okay.
There's a child present, but maybe a glorified penis.
Oh, really? And it's your car?
Tatsächlich ist Ihr Auto.
I leased it.
It's fascinating to see how, when asked about associations, he himself says glorified penis. I don't think that was what he was thinking when he got the car.
Maybe he did buy the car in order to.
Maybe, but I don't think it helps.
Of course not. Evidently, the issue of gender and aggressive design is far from straightforward. But what strategies are the car makers themselves pursuing? They're already developing the cars of the future. A future that apparently belongs to e-mobility and self-driving vehicle. So, what's the next step in the evolution of car design?
This fancy building behind me is normally a really top secret place. It is called the Volkswagen Group Future Center Europe. What a name. Let's see what they can do in there. And there he is, the design boss of the group himself. Actually, his name was always Bischoff, but now he has a new name, and it's kind of unspeakable. Just tell me, how do you pronounce your new name, which you took from your wife?
Yeah, pretty easy. Tsitsi Ora.
Tsitsi Ora. Okay, that's easy. Yeah. So when I'm thinking of VW, the legendary Käfer, or the so-called Beetle in English, comes to my mind.
No other car goes through so much for so little.
It was kind of cute and has a round shape. So how does the future look like?
Of course, we build on what we have as a genetic code. And we are living in the midst of a big transformation towards a new type of mobility. New drives, new intelligence comes into place and will change the way we move. And therefore, we hark back to the very sympathetic appearance of our brand.
And this car of the future, the Cedric, does have a friendly look. As a level 5 autonomous car, there is no need for a driver at all. So there's no steering wheel or other redundant features.
If you imagine such a car traveling in a city environment, and everybody will know, okay, this car is driving by itself. We think that it is better to come up with something that is soft and round, less aggressive.
That's pretty smart on the psychological front. And instead of driving, you can sit in the back to have a chat, do some work, or even take a nap. VW's next generation cars are created by a new generation of engineers and designers, and they have their own vision of tomorrow's mobility.
Wouldn't be enough for me to do only aesthetics, and here I can work on the package, I can work on the experience, I can work on the materials, I can work on the engineering. At least I can give input in all to these fields, and this is how I really make a product better.
Now the product is not designed and is finished because it is much more reactive to the customer. That we want to let it grow with the customers.
How the product is shaped and how it looks like, it's also like what you as a designer try to bring out in the world. And if it's a positive design, let's say, then I think it's also maybe part of how to shape the word a little bit more positive.
Thank you.
For now, these ego-driven macho-mobiles still dominate our streets. Ready for conflict and closed off to the world, they are the expression of a society that cares less and less about solidarity. But some car makers are rethinking the face of transport. If you take people's ego out of driving, cars could well end up smaller and cuter.
So the only hope for the future, electric and autonomous driving cars, and we will see if the designers will again aim for a more friendly street scene.
So was brauche ich. But what does the law for such cars say about our Zeitgeist?
Hi.
Is this law for aggressive design actually a male thing, or do women like it too? Like it too? As you have these.
Weil es also ganz groß, stark und ja, also ja, und schwarz für mich bedeutet auch, dass es so ganz stark so ist. Darum finde ich, dass es so ganz stark und groß aussieht.
Wann geht denn hier eigentlich so ein Arbeitstag los im Future Lab? Um 11?
Frühestens um 11. Gegen 2 wird dann der erste Stift aus der Tasche geholt.
Ja, komm, ras ran. Abends sind die Schleicher unterwegs. Too kind for a race.